Florida prosecutors have now made it official. They're considering the death penalty for the suspects connected to rapper Foolio's murder. And based on how things are going in court, it's clear the suspects know they're in big trouble.
No, they got so much evidence against them. Like, when you go through it, you can pretty much just, all right, pick a prison. Where do y'all want to go?
The suspects in Foolio's murder case are starting to realize how serious things are. In court, some of them have even shown signs of regret. This case is getting more intense by the day, so let's break it down. The state of Florida is now officially going after the death penalty. It all started on a hot summer night, June 23, 2024, outside a Holiday Inn near the University of South Florida in Tampa. What was supposed to be a birthday celebration turned into pure chaos. Charles Jones, better known as Foolio, had just turned 26. He was a well-known Jacksonville rapper, famous for his raw lyrics and deep ties to the streets. But instead of celebrating his birthday, he was ambushed and killed in a violent attack that also injured 3 other people. From the very beginning, police were convinced this wasn't random. This was a targeted hit, planned in advance and likely linked to long-standing gang beef. Foolio was part of the 6-Block gang, rivals of 2 of Jacksonville's most violent crews, ATK and 1200. Even though Foolio used music to rise above the street life, it seemed like the streets eventually caught up with him. Within weeks, law enforcement had suspects. Tampa police and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office moved fast. By the end of July 2024, 3 people were already behind bars: 17-year-old Sean Gathright, 21-year-old Isaiah Chance, 21-year-old Alicia Andrews. A 4th suspect, 30-year-old Rashad Murphy, was arrested after a tense SWAT standoff in Jacksonville. Final suspect, Dave Murphy, stayed on the run for months before being caught in January 2025, finally ending a 6-month manhunt. All 5 suspects were charged with first-degree premeditated murder. Prosecutors also hit them with conspiracy to commit murder, proving this was a planned and coordinated ambush, not just a spur-of-the-moment shooting. Then, in October 2024, the case took a dramatic turn. Prosecutors announced they would seek the death penalty against Gathright, Chance, and Rashad Murphy. These 3 weren't just bystanders, they were accused of being the actual shooters. Surveillance footage reportedly showed them firing dozens of shots into Foolio's car. He never stood a chance. The video was chilling. 3 masked men, 2 with rifles, 1 with a handgun, moved in like a tactical unit. They carried out the hit with precision, like it was a mission. At a press conference, State Attorney Susan Lopez said, "If you help plan a murder, you're just as guilty as the one who pulls the trigger on. We're gonna prove that in court." The internet lit up. Reddit forums and comment sections were full of theories and reactions. One person posted, "They drove hours like it was some spy mission. Trackers positioning shell catchers. That wasn't no random drill." Another said, "This was a public assassination. They gotta make an example out of them." The message from prosecutors was loud and clear: gang violence will be punished to the fullest. One name in this case stands out. Alicia Andrews' authorities believe she acted as the lookout that night. She wasn't named in the death penalty filing, but investigators say she gave live updates on Foolio's location to the shooters. When Alicia was arrested in July 2024, it came out that she was pregnant. A lawyer requested a speedy trial, hoping to get it done by January 2025, but just 1 week before that, her attorney unexpectedly quit the case. Rumors said there was a lack of trust between them. As of April 2025, Alicia is still waiting for a new court date. She's being held separately from the others, but she still faces serious conspiracy charges. Her future is completely up in the air. Next, we have Rashad Murphy, one of the most unpredictable players in the case. Rashad is a known 1200 gang member, and he shocked everyone in January 2025 by firing his attorneys and choosing to represent himself in court event. Though he's facing the death penalty, that kind of move is extremely rare, especially in a capital murder case. Prosecutors say the evidence against him is solid: cell phone tracking data, license plate scans, and surveillance footage. His decision to go solo just made the case even more intense. His trial was originally set for September 2024, but delays in transferring him between counties pushed everything back. It's now scheduled for April 2026, and Rashad is literally betting his life on his own legal skills. Finally, there's Dave Murphy. Rashad's cousin Dave managed to avoid arrest for 6 months before finally being caught in January 2025 at a Jacksonville apartment complex. His arrest ended a long and stressful manhunt. In court, prosecutors didn't hold back. They called him dangerous and just as involved as the others. A judge denied him bond, saying he was a threat to public safety. Dave didn't appear in court for his first hearing, and he was waiting on a detention hearing. But it got worse. News broke that Dave allegedly assaulted a corrections officer while in custody. Though details haven't been shared publicly, that incident could seriously impact his trial, which, as of April 2025, still doesn't have a set date. Each person in this case has a different role, but they're all tied together by one tragic event: the murder of Julio Foolio. Foolio didn't die by accident. His killing was the result of a long brewing gang war, a violent game between rival Jacksonville crews. This wasn't a random drive-by, it was a carefully planned hit. Surveillance footage, phone records, and digital messages all point to one thing: this was calculated from the start. What should have been a night of laughter, celebration, and memories turned into the final chapter, Julio Foolio's life.
Drinking, I don't even drink,
Instead of a night of celebration, Fio's birthday turned into a setup. Parking lot of a Tampa Holiday Inn became the final battleground in a feud that had been boiling for years, and on that night, it finally exploded into bloodshed. Fio wasn't new to conflict. His name sparked reactions both in the streets of Jacksonville and across social media. He was known for dissing fallen rivals in his music, calling out names and dropping locations with no hesitation. It was part of the drill scene. He thrived in bold, unfiltered, and dangerous. But that same boldness came with a cost, and ultimately it cost him his life. He rolled into Tampa on June 21st, ready to celebrate big for his 26th. He hit up strip clubs, lounges, and hotel rooms, documenting the entire weekend for his followers. His Instagram stories showed every stop, every move. What he didn't realize was that someone else was watching just as closely. Not fans, but enemies.
Pool party start the day at 5, 6 o'clock. If you already got the address, pull up, man. We got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party start at 5, 6 o'clock. DM me for the address or DM Foolio booking ESPN. I'm gonna put it right.
Two people were already tracking Foolio's every move that night: Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews. Both 21 and connected to Jacksonville's infamous ATK gang, weren't just watching from a distance. According to the indictment, they were actively tracking Foolio in real time and sending updates directly to Rashad Murphy from the 1200 gang and his younger crew members, Sean Gathright and Dave Murphy. Surveillance footage from June 22, 2024 shows Chance and Andrews outside Teaser's Gentleman's Club, one of Foolio's birthday spots. They didn't go inside. The stayed posted outside, watching every move. Alicia reportedly acted as a lookout, using encrypted apps to relay Foolio's exact location while Chance coordinated intel with the shooters. Meanwhile, Rashad Gathright and Dave weren't out partying, they were getting ready. Authorities say they loaded up with weapons: a 9M handgun and 2 rifles with extended magazines. This wasn't for show. They were coming to kill. License plate records later showed a silver Toyota Camry registered to Rashad Murphy making the trip from Jacksonville to Tampa that night. The suspects reportedly linked up at a safe house in Tampa's Sulphur Springs neighborhood, where they locked in the final details of the plan. Later shell casings recovered at the crime scene matched a gun linked to the 1200 gang, proving this wasn't a random hit. It was revenge, carefully planned to the minute. By the early morning of June 23, Foolio was still out celebrating and posting on Instagram while fans double-tapped his posts. Chance and Andrews kept a close watch from a distance. Around 3:00 a.m., Foolio and his crew got kicked out of the club, reportedly for being too rowdy, and headed to a Holiday Inn near the University of South Florida. That move sealed his fate. At 3:45 a.m., Alicia Andrews allegedly sent Foolio's exact location to Rashad Murphy's cell tower records. Later confirmed that Chance was still nearby, keeping visual contact with Foolio's location locked in the hit. Team made their move. At 4:37 a.m., the silver Camry pulled into the hotel parking lot, followed by a second Cara black sedan. Foolio was sitting in the front passenger seat of a Dodge Durango, along with his cousin and 2 friends. They didn't even see it coming. From both vehicles, Gathright, Rashad, and Dave Murphy jumped out, masks on guns. Up in under 20 seconds, they fired over 40 rounds, unloading from multiple angles. Bullets tore through the Durango. Foolio was hit repeatedly in the head, chest, and torso. He died instantly. His birthday celebration had turned into an execution. The others in the car were injured but survived. One described the scene to police as a war zone. Shattered glass, blown tires, and panic everywhere. The shooters didn't wait. They jumped back into their cars and took off. Cameras caught Rashad's Camry speeding down I-2075 while the black sedan carrying Gathright and Dave escaped down DS4, Andrews and Chance. They powered off their phones and disappeared. Another calculated move to erase their digital trail. Police arrived just minutes later after frantic 911 calls from hotel guests. The scene was horrifying. Shell casings everywhere, blown out cars, and Foolio's lifeless body in the front seat. He was pronounced dead at 4:45 a.m. Hours earlier, he was celebrating life. Now he was gone. Another victim in a war that had claimed far too many. When the indictments dropped, the story was laid out in detail. Everyone had a role. Every move was planned. Gathright, just 18, was seen in footage firing one of the rifles. Chance wasn't a shooter, but he was the team's eyes and ears. Andrews was the lookout. Her encrypted messages to Rashad were later recovered by investigators. Rashad Murphy, the lead, drove the Camry and fired a rifle. Dave Murphy is accused of using the 9mm at close range directly into Foolio's window. Together they moved like a strike unit, fast, focused, and deadly. So why Foolio? The answer lies in his lyrics. His street ties and the long-standing war between his gang, KTA, killed them all in 1200. To understand what happened in that hotel parking lot, you have to go back over a decade over the streets of Jacksonville, where violence, loyalty, and revenge shaped a generation. Foolio came from the rough north side of the city. Long before he was rapping, the streets had already marked him. In 2017, his cousin Zion Brown was murder at a loss. That hit him hard and pushed him deeper into music. That pain became his drive. His grief turned into lyrics. But in Jacksonville's drill rap scene, music isn't just art, it's a weapon. And success paints a target on your back. Foolio repped a crew rooted in the violent 6-block neighborhood. These weren't just rap groups. These were real-life gangs with serious beef and a long history of bloodshed. On the other side was AKK, Ace's top killers, a gang connected to rapper Young Yeen, Ace, and the 1200 set. Their music wasn't just about the streets, it was the streets. Songs became taunts, tracks became threats. Foolio's hit song, Dead Ops, wasn't just popular, it was personal. Then came When I See You, a cold-blooded remix, mocking the death of ATK affiliate Adrian Bibby Gaynor. It didn't just cross a line, it erased it. ATK fired back. Yoonjin Ace's viral track, Who I Smoke, turned a pop melody into a diss anthem, naming Foolio's dead friends and mocking their deaths. Millions streamed the song, the views went up, and so did the body count. From 2017 to 2024, the KTA vs ATK war was tied to over 30 murders. Young Mensame rappers, some not, were gunned down in drive-bys, ambushes, and revenge killings. Foolio was always a top target. He never showed fear. In 2018, he was shot while driving through Moncrief. A bullet hit his leg. A few hours later, he posted a photo of the injury with the caption, "All this money on my head, I'm supposed to be dead," instead of backing off. He leaned into it. Every close call just gave him more lyrics. Every near-death moment became a new verse.
I walked through the cut, and I'll say probably like 5-10 minutes later, somebody pop out the cut, go to shooting, boom, boom, boom. I got hit on my hip, and my hip popped out of place, and I was just crawling, looking back, looking at him still shooting. You know what I'm saying?
2 years later, the bullets flew again. This time it was 2020. Fio's car was riddled with gunfire, a clear attempt on his life, but once again he walked away. Not only did he survive, but days later he doubled down in a track titled List of Dead Ops, practically daring his enemies to take another shot. The cycle was relentless. Shootings, disses, retaliation, rinse and repeat. Friends and family pleaded with him to fall back, to leave Jacksonville, to stop fueling the fire. But Foolio lived by a code one built on pain, loyalty, and street pride. In his eyes, his enemies had taken too much from him. Speaking up, even if it meant dying for it, was the only way to honor the ones he lost. Behind the scenes, things were only getting more volatile. In 2021, Fio's close friend and KTA ally, Kenneth Casu McKinnon, was arrested and later convicted for the murder of ATK affiliate Adrian B.B. Gaynor. Kasu's downfall rocked KTA. It left a vacuum in the group's leadership, and it left Fio as one of the last real voices of 6-Block still standing in the music scene. As Fio's profile grew, so did the target on his back. Meanwhile, Mr. KK was taking losses of their own. In 2020, Charles Lealbuck McCormick, a young ATK enforcer, was shot and killed, reportedly by KTA shooters. It was another chapter in the ongoing war, and in Jacksonville, every death demanded a response. Nothing was ever forgotten. Every shooting led to a diss track. Every diss track led to another body. On social media, the war played out in real time. Taunts, threats, memorial posts, and disrespectful lyrics feeding an endless cycle of bloodshed. By 2023, Foolio's luck was wearing thin. That October, he had his closest call yet. While driving through Jacksonville's Riverside neighborhood, unknown gunmen unloaded more than 100 rounds in his car. One bullet grazed his skull. It was nothing short of a miracle that he survived.
Good job. He shot me, but he didn't kill me. I'm Kendrick. It's stupid.
Something had shifted. His music grew darker. Tracks like Voodoo revealed a man haunted, laced with paranoia, betrayal, and sleepless nights. His circle got smaller. He moved more cautiously, spoke less, and trusted even fewer. The same social media that once built his buzz now felt like a loaded weapon. And he was always in the crosshairs. Still, Foolio couldn't stay quiet. By early 2024, he was back online, taunting his enemies, flashing cash, dropping his location from clubs, like he had nothing to lose. Some saw it as fearless, others called it reckless. But above all, it was real. Foolio had always said he was a product of war, and he lived every day like it. In the end, died like it too.
Whole clip on my dad, stop playing with me. And I didn't get hit, I got grazed in the leg, stop playing.
In the days following Foolio's death, street chatter and online speculation quickly pointed fingers at ATK's involvement. Social media posts from fans linked the murder to young Ace, with one user writing, "Ace got his lick back," a direct nod to Ace's own shooting back in 2018. Though no concrete evidence ties young Ace directly to the crime, and he's not named in the indictment, the rumor mill highlights just how public and personal this feud has become. Many believe young Ace may have been the mastermind behind the hit, orchestrating the attack from behind the scenes. Nearly a year after Foolio's murder, suspicion still hangs heavily over the Jacksonville rapper, whose real name is Cato Bullard. The ambush in the Tampa parking lot that ended Foolio's life at just 26 was a brutal culmination of a years-long war. Between rival crews, Foolio's KTA killed them all tied to 6 Block, and AKTA, AC's top killers, linked to the 1200 gang. As of April 6, 2025, young Ace's involvement remains an open question. Fueled by a mix of cryptic social media posts, taunts from both sides, and ongoing police investigations, controversy rages on. Despite multiple arrests, the presence of mysterious claimants and relentless accusations from Foolio's fans keep the feud alive, a conflict that may very well outlast the lives of those involved. The saga took an unexpected turn in July 124, when a masked figure appeared in a video that quickly circulated online, claiming responsibility for Foolio's death. Wearing a ski mask and an orange beanie, the individual boldly asserted,
"Hey, on everything I love, bro. On the dead homies, bro. I put it on everything, on my soul, on my kids. I'm the one that smacked Foolio that night when he got dropped at his birthday celebration, bro."
More explosively, the masked man alleged that young Gene Ace had placed a $10,000 bounty on Foolio's head, saying, "Ace had that money on his head. I rock with Ace and them boys. Ace had done put that 10K up, told me to slide." The identity of this speaker remains unverified, but the confession, cold and without remorse, framed the killing as a transaction rather than a purely gang-driven vendetta. Ace put that bread up, and whoever wanted to take it, took it, so I took that. Though unconfirmed by law enforcement, this alleged confession sparked widespread speculation and became a tantalizing yet inconclusive piece of the puzzle. Young Ace's actions following Foolio's death only added fuel to the fire. Mere hours after the shooting, Ace dropped a music video for his track "Dawd Do It," featuring lyrics like, "They called my phone, said they got the low, I told them, do it," alongside visuals chillingly reminiscent of the Tampa shooting, a mass crew firing on a car in a parking lot. Days later, on June 28, 2024, he released "Game Over," another apparent diss track with lines such as 5 in the morning, I got a call dead on arrival, Mr. 6, eerily mirroring the timing and circumstances of Foolio's death. Then, in a July Instagram Live, Ace laughed while addressing Foolio's demise, mocking his rival with a casual "that 9 sad twin," before claiming they had been cool and that he'd urged Foolio to stay out of trouble. The dissonance between his public words and the aggressive tone of his music.
That's sad, twin. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all boys in the street, y'all didn't leave the streets alone, twin. All condone and like that.
So Young and Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them.